Hey, True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you with an awesome figure review. Today we are going over the Target exclusive Transformers Bumblebee Movie Greatest Hits Soundwave and Doombox. And I love this figure. I remember when I saw the release for it, I definitely wanted it. I know this isn't Soundwave's original tape deck, but the boombox idea was just really cool, and then the packaging in and of itself was a really neat idea. Now, if you want to pick this up, as I said, it is a Target exclusive, and I have not seen it since it released when the movie came out. However, I was, just for snits and giggles, taking a look on Big Bad Toy Store, and I did find it there as well. But before you check online, always, as I say, first and foremost, check with your local comic shop and see if you can get it in stock that way. Now, as you see, we see Soundwave here in the mirror, the plastic, and then I like this 80s style where you see Soundwave and Doombox. Here you get the Decepticon logo, then I like all these little radio tuner buttons here, and then of course it has that just nice, not Technicolor, but the colors of the 80s, like you get the sound volumes there, and then this cool little neon blue Bumblebee Greatest Hits logo. You get the same thing on the top where you get like a play, stop, forward and backwards, because you had to do all that manually back in the day for some of you younger cats. Then of course here's more of the dials. Decepticon come around to the side, and I love that you get Bumblebee playing a flying V. It's supposed to be a guitar, but it's obviously a traffic sign, but that's okay. And I love all the boomboxing there. I really feel like they really wanted to make this look neat, and I really appreciate that they went out of their way to kind of give you that 80s nostalgia, because, I was born in the 80s, so it hits me that way. So you see all the different ways that you can transform. Soundwave, he's a triple changer, which is awesome. There's a really cool read up here, so I'll make sure to leave it where you guys can read that at your convenience. And you come back around to the side here, more speakers. And this looks like those speakers that Marty McFly played in Doc Brown's house in the first movie. Just cool stuff there. You come around to the bottom, nothing real interesting there. Who cares? But what we do care about is this Soundwave figure actually awesome or not. So let's get him out of the packaging and get a closer look at him. So here's Soundwave out of the packaging, and man, just looking at this boombox on the spinner, absolutely gorgeous. I love the way that they came up with this. I don't know, I like how even though it still has that 80s feel, it's not the tape deck, instead it's a boombox that plays cassettes. So that's all right with me. I think this thing is a one beautiful piece in every aspect of it. This is a figure that you guys do not want to sleep on. I know that I've read other people talking about this figure, and it's supposed to be a repaint of the Titans Return, which is fine. I couldn't find the Titans Return, and I found this one, and I'm okay with that. I got me a Soundwave that it's kind of new, but still has that old school flavor to it. It's perfect. I'm content with that. So with that said, let's get him off the spinner and get a closer look at him. So some quick backstory on Soundwave himself. His first comic book appearance was the Marvel's Transformers #1 from September of 1984. His cartoon counterpart came out in the same time in 84, because what happened, if you guys go back and watch The Toys Who Made Us, they made an excellent episode about the Transformers, and they were wondering how they could promote this new line. And so what they did is they contacted Marvel and had them make a comic book first, and that's why the first series was through Marvel Comics. And the comics are super awesome, y'all. But yeah, it's just a really cool idea nonetheless. So let's go ahead and take a look at Soundwave the figure now that we're done talking about cartoons and comic books. So as I said, here's his boombox mode, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love the little Decepticon logo here. I like the yellow around here. I like all the little intricate working here of these digitized things to make it look all nice and high tech. And then I can get some more light on that for you guys. This side here, I believe, is to adjust your EQ. I'm having a hard time getting light on that, sorry y'all. But I think that was the side that you'd adjust your EQ and volume. And then of course on the side, as I was talking about earlier, for those of you that didn't grow up around this time period, you'd have your radio, you could carry it with you to the beach or to the skate park, and you'd still have to tune in your radio stations manually. So it's kind of like dun, dun, dun. And I like that they even went so far as to put the play button here for the cassette and all that good stuff forward and backwards. And I love that here, let me get another focus because I'm trying to do this multitasking. There's a little button right here, blah. And then you get this little piece. I wish this looked more like a cassette because this looks more like an iPod or, you know, some sort of MP3 player. So I don't know. I know that they wanted to make this part for the city mode. I don't know. I didn't pick up the Bumblebee. He's supposed to come with 3 other tapes, which do fit in his chest, but I looked at the Bumblebee, and I did not like that figure, and I wasn't going to spend that much money just for a couple of extra tapes. So if you guys have them, let us see them, you know, on our social media pages. Make sure to leave some photos of them. But nonetheless, this is the basic one he comes with, and as I said, it just easily... And I like that sound. It sounds like actually putting a cassette in. Goes in, blap, and you're good to go. I do like the weapon storage on the back, so it's kind of out of the way and hidden. The only thing, though, is Doombot, which eventually becomes Soundwave's part of Soundwave's head. There's nowhere really to put him. So what I've been doing, and what a lot of other people have done, is these flaps here. You just pop it down, and so it doesn't rattle, you can stuff it up here. So you have that option. But I mean, the paint apps, I don't know. I like that they actually have a handle. I like that these actually look like speakers. You know, these are supposed to be like little, other speakers or maybe buttons on the sides, which it doesn't take too much away from it. I mean, these are his feet in the grand scheme of things, but... Whatever. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. And one thing I've always loved about Takara and the Transformer figures is overall they always make sure that every piece has a function, or at least you can do something with it, which makes, you know, the playability and the longevity of these type of figures just perfect. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and go into his city mode. So let's go ahead and peg these out because there's a little hole here. This is where the gun goes, and then down here below there's another peg because this one just has that. And before we get into the city mode, as I'm taking stuff out, this is the blaster, you know, his traditional blaster that goes on his shoulder. I like that they made sure that these look nice and red. I wish that you could push a button and make them, but yeah, that's going to set you up for possibly losing them. So the cannon's a cool idea. And I also like the gun has that gunmetal gray, and you know, it looks kind of more holy. So you have like a neat futuristic Cybertronian look to it. I like that it has a scope. Just a great gun overall. So those are more of the accessories. Look at us go. We're just banging things out. So for his city mode, let me zoom out just a little bit so we're not doing this all tight. And what are you doing with your hands? And we're going to get focus. So you pop these out gently. Bring them on down. Downtown Lester Brown. Then you take these bad boys and you just kind of hinge them out like so. Let me zoom out just a little bit more for you guys. And let's get old Doombot out of there as well, which real quick, let's go over Doombot. So as I said, he's part of, like how I just switched thought processes real quick. But yeah, so that's Soundwave's head. And then you just take these back legs and you go bloop, bloop. And you get my mini-me. And, oh no, he fell. All good, got him. So as the arms do move up, he's just a super tiny character, so you have to kind of be careful. But at least you get a little bit of articulation, or you can make him sit. So another thing real quick that I want to mention again before we get more into the city mode is he can kind of sit or lean back in this thing, but you can't fold him in. So like, let's say you want to try to hide him here. So when you put him in Soundwave's chest, it's not going to work because the back of Soundwave's face is not going to work on the front, nor the back. I have tried and tried and tried again. So that's why I said stuff him in that little place there. So that's, what's his name? Doombot. Yeah. Doom, 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 doom. Doom. Okay, we're going to stop the Doom song. But yeah, that's kind of him in a nutshell. So you fold him back up like that, and we got Shockwave's head. So we'll put him back off to the side. Now, back to the city mode. Sorry, as I'm pulling things out, it's like, oh yeah, I should probably talk about that, right? Now, if I understand correctly for the arms, so you're going to kind of unpeg them, twist it around to where the screw is showing here, twist it, and then this part up here, just kind of lean it back. And there's these things up here. You pull them out, and they're guns. So that's kind of cool. So we'll do that here on the same side. So twist, 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 and peg and peg and pegging. Pull and pull and pulling. You get that. Now with this is kind of cool. So you pop the tape deck out. And inside, there's all these little doodads. So one of them pulls forward like that, and there's one in the back that you can pull up like so. You can kind of see it there. Now, the other thing is you go ahead and bring the feet out. And the feet never want to peg the way I want them to. So there's these little parts here. Yep, there they go. You can kind of pull those out. Pull it out here. And so that's kind of the city mode, like to get it set up. Now you can take the gun. There's a little peg inside the chest here. So you just kind of peg it in like that. This part, if you see here, there's little slats. So what you do, where is it? I believe it's in here. And you're just going to peg it right on top because you want this to be the front. So let's try that, shall we? Yeah, it's these right here. These little, that peg. You just kind of line them up. Slap that bad boy on. Take the sound cannon. Put it right there. And then we untransform. Doom, 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 doom. Put his arms up just to make him look cool. And put him there. And here's Soundwave as his city mode. And as you can see, this thing, I thought at first that it was going to be kind of cheap and unnecessary. But I'm going to tell you all right now, this is my first time ever putting this figure in its city mode. And I'm actually really blown away with it. Takara, I feel, really did a wonderful job with this. I mean, yeah, the figures start getting smaller. As you can see, I put Doombot up there because there's different places that you can peg them, as you see here. And I moved the blasters a little bit so you can kind of see the move up and down. And I like that the little yellow is like a targeting system, so you can sit Doombot down in there. So I like that they really made sure that you could move your headmaster around. That is a really cool concept, and it's just absolutely beautiful piece. And I like that, as you can see, the feet here and here, they don't look the same, so at least both sides don't start to look repetitive, you know what I mean? And you can see here the inside of this one's black, and the inside of that one is silver. So everything kind of has its different contrasts to it, but just that, I think what really hits me is the clear glass with that little targeting system. So it has, again, that dual function that I was talking about. So I don't know. I just think this is a wonderful addition, and I'm glad to have it. All right, from city mode, let's get Soundwave into his robot mode. So let's start clearing the board here, start taking the blaster, the whatever you want to call that thingy off. Pop this bad boy, take Doombox. I know I've been calling him Doombot. Doombox, and we'll go ahead and fold him up so that we can start getting Soundwave's head. Fold the cannons in, straighten those out. What we're going to do then is put this piece in here down, that down, slide you in, close you up. Now we're going to start with the legs because the legs are kind of the most complicated of the whole piece here. So what you want to do, take this, and after you close it, see this little peg right here? You want to close it, push it down, and make sure that it's showing through, because you want it to tab up with that peg there. So we're going to keep the feet out, but we are going to close up that part of it. Now what you need to do, I'm going to pull the play tape part up so we can get some clearance on the legs, is we need to unhinge here. So I'm going to pop it. Uh-oh. One thing I will give props to Takara is when things pop off, you know, a lot of times you're like, oh no, it's broken forever. But I like that they make it where it's like, oh, relax, just pop it back in. So what you're doing is you're popping this piece off of here, that so you can bring it out, see how it hinges. That's how it was originally. It was plugged in down here, so you want to unplug it, and it just did knock that off, which drove me nuts. And you want to straighten it out, and then we're going to peg it up in this little tab, so boop, and then we just kind of collapse everything in on itself, so and bloop. I think that's right. Looks kind of weird. Oh, and another thing is, see this little peg here? Make sure it lines up with that peg. That's what I was missing. I knew I was missing something. So you kind of get the, oh yeah, it goes all the way and not just, yeah, so. Because you want to tab it all up in. Sorry, folks. There it goes. And there. Haha. And then you see this little peg there. You just grab it, flip the foot out. We got a leg. So there's one. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So open that up. And again, see how everything's folded up in there? We want to untab it. And doing that's always the hard part. So make sure you peg it into that little slat there. Close that up, fold this down. Like I said, make sure that is shining through. Push that in. Close it. Make sure that, I know it's hard to see, sorry folks. Giving it all the light I can, Captain. But there's a peg right here where my finger is. I know it's hard to see. And you're gonna smack it into that. So bloop. And then all this folds into here, like so. And again, peg. Sometimes it doesn't work and you just have to kind of get willy-nilly with it. So it's kind of a little frustrating addition because it likes to pop back in, especially if you don't have fingernails. So you can, if you can't get it, you can always pull this out, pop that. So we'll close that up. Bring leg down. Got our legs going on. And we can close these like so. Bring the arms. And then there's a little, don't want to get closer than that. Just bring the fists out here. Same thing on this side. Bring the fist out there. Now, you want to push that back. Now, the next thing that's kind of tricky with the head is if you just try to push Doombot in like so, he's not going to go. So I've noticed that you have to kind of twist his head to the side, and that allows you to, and then just make sure to line up, focus, that little part there with that little slat there. The next part, you pull this part back off his back, kind of wing your thumb in there, close that back up, plop that on like so, tilt up because he gets to be kind of a big guy, get that foot back out, get him focused, take the sound cannon there, take gun there, and here's Soundwave in his robot mode, and this thing to me is just slick Rick. Absolutely beautiful piece. I don't know. I know it kind of has that G1 look, and you would think it being a movie piece that they would have went a little more in the film. So, for example, as you guys see, he has the yellow visor. In the film, he had that red look, which was cool for the film. And yeah, that would have looked cool here, but I'm glad, again, that they didn't. I'm glad they went with more of that nostalgia factor. That's just me, though, because, I mean, even though he looks a little bit different and his helmet there looks a little more, you know, crownish, it still looks like an old school Soundwave, and that's what I like about it. The Mrs. and I kind of made a pact with each other saying that we want Transformers, but they have to be from the movies. That way we stick with one line. So we usually go with the studio series, but when I saw this was coming out for the Bumblebee movie, I said, hey, it's part of the movies, and she went, all right. So that's how I got this one, and I'm absolutely pleased with it. I mean, the gunmetal grays, and you get a little bit of marbling. I love the gray on the feet. And as I said, I love the gun. I like that yellow around the tape deck. I love the purple Decepticon logo there. He's just big and bulky. And this is how I remember Soundwave from the cartoon. And I don't know, just the little things to that they kind of upgraded on it and making it a boombox. Just an absolutely great idea. So this is one that I highly recommend. I just think is absolutely gorgeous. For articulation in his robot mode, it's actually a pretty well-balanced range. So his arms can go 360. Because of the transformation, they can go up that high. They pivot at the elbow, 90 degrees there. Arms don't twist there, but they do because you have to put them back in their little doodad there. The head can kind of move a little bit to side, but because of the that being the Doombot, kind of don't really have an option there, so it is what it is. I'm okay with that, with it being a robot. Legs can swing out pretty far, and then because I like that the play buttons here pause move, you can kick him out about that much and about that much, and they do go about 90 degrees, so that's cool. And then, like I said, you could also pull that out if you want extra. I mean, you can if you want. It's up to you. That's what I like about these, is they give you options to be creative. So that's the articulation in a nutshell. No real waist swivel because obvious reasons. Same thing, no ab crunch, but that's okay. He's a big, bulky robot in disguise. He doesn't need to do that. He just needs to look awesome. Now for some size comparisons, here's Soundwave next to some of his Decepticon brethren. These are part of the Studio Series, I guess you would call it Build-A-Figure for Devastator, which we will eventually go over. I just have not had the gumption to want to transform all these on camera and build it. But this is the Voyager Series Long Haul from the Studio Series. This is the Deluxe Scrap Metal, and this is the Leader Scavenger. So I wanted to leave these two in robot mode and this one in his hidden mode or car mode, whatever you want to call it. But still, nonetheless, even though he's a little bit bulkier and looks more nostalgic, which I'm okay with, these guys still all look very cool together. You can just see Soundwave saying, you know, Constructicons, go get them. I can't do the voice, which I wish I could, but nonetheless, even though these guys are smaller, you know, Soundwave is one of the leaders along with Shockwave and Megatron, I almost forgot his name, and these guys are sort of like the underlings. So in a sense, I like that. I mean, this guy for sure, when you transform him, he is one big mamma jamma, but in his car mode here, or, you know, shovel mode, I love this piece, by the way. I cannot wait to do that one again, because I had a review of that, and long story. Anyway, so for comparisons, these are all figures that you guys want in your collection. They're beautiful, very well sculpted, very well done in terms of transformation and posability, and just to have fun and be creative with. Let me know what you guys think down below. This is a figure I highly recommend, guys. I absolutely love it. I've loved it since the moment that I pulled it out of the packaging, and I never am bored with it. I always find cool new poses. Like today, I didn't even know I can get him up on one foot, and boom, yummy. So yeah, if you guys can find this out in the wild, I highly recommend you pick it up. If not, grab it from Big Bad Toy Store or from the secondary market or from a friend. Say, hey, give me your Soundwave, because I cannot stress how great I think this figure is. But I want to know what you guys think. So as I always say, if you've enjoyed this figure, please, first and foremost, see if you can maybe find it at your local comic shop. If not, you can check the places that I said at the beginning of this review. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little robot in disguise bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel. And we love to hear your feedback on these figures and comics that we do down in the comments below. We just love talking with y'all and hearing your feedback. Also on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down below in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all enjoy the photo slideshow coming up next. And with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.